I walked away from a six-figure-a-year salary at one of the most prestigious accounting firms in the entire world. I was told that if I stayed on the right path, got the degree, got the prestigious job, that my life would be fulfilling and that I would love it. But all I found after going through all of those things was just being empty at the bottom of the barrel. So this is my story of how I worked at PwC and then left to start my own company. And I'll be sharing something that my manager said to me on the last day of working there that I've never said publicly. And I'm still thinking about it till this day. So it all started out after college. I landed a job at PwC, which is one of the top accounting firms in the entire world, actually. And, I was told by parents, professors, friends, everything, pretty much everybody, that this was the life I should be aspiring to. This was the ultimate route for me to take as an accounting and finance student, and this was the right place for me to be in. I was told that this is what the elite do. This is the prestigious path. This is the ultimate route for you to be successful. And so I believed them. I believed what they said. And by every external measure, I was successful. I had the salary, I had the apartment, I had the good title next to my name. I had everything that you could really look for. So from the outside perspective, the story was perfect and I was following the plan just as I should. But then 2 months in, things started feeling a little bit uneasy. I started noticing things that I didn't really like about the job or the way that my lifestyle was turning out. And I just began to have this feeling of unease that I just couldn't shake. And so I was still early, so I told myself just to give myself some grace and that it was an adjustment period that I would get over eventually as I got more comfortable within the job. But then the tax busy season hit. So this is a season where tax returns are due, and in accounting firms around the country and especially in the Big Four, this is where it gets really, really busy. And so this was late August, early September, and I actually got called up to go work in New York with another team. And so I was excited to go to New York for work because, being in the big city, I'm from the South, going to the big city is always a cool thing. But as soon as I got up there, I realized that I was physically in New York City, but I wasn't going to see any of New York City, right? I was essentially in the office from very early in the morning until very late at night, working with the team to get the things done that needed to get done, which completely understandable, but it took away from the whole purpose of having to go to New York. And while I was up there, it just kind of hit me that this can't be it. This can't be all that my life amounts to, right? And it wasn't the people, and it wasn't even the firm or the work really, but it was just realizing that this path that I'm on was the life that others wanted me to live, not what I felt called to do. And so 4 months in, that was the moment. That was the moment that I knew for 100% fact that that couldn't be the rest of my life. And so I actually stayed thinking about that decision for a while and kind of contemplating the different routes in life and, just waiting to see if things improved, right? And come the spring busy season in April 25, I pretty much knew the answer was still the same and that this wasn't the life for me. And so it was in April 2025 that I actually decided I would be leaving PwC and pursuing my own company. But the thing was, I wasn't ready to leave yet. I didn't have the infrastructure in place to just dart off and jump into my own thing. And so, like I said, this was in April, but I ended up not leaving until later in August of that same year. And so I ended up sitting on that decision for a really long time. And of course, I had conversations with those who were close to me, friends, family, mentors, all of them. And I kept getting the same thing, that people were supportive and told me that I could do it. But a lot of them asked me questions like, are you sure this is the right move? Are you sure that you're ready for something like this? Do you really have enough experience to actually do this? They would say, shouldn't you wait? You don't even have your CPA yet. And the most common thing I got was that it's too risky. This was the most common thing that I got from everybody. And to be fair, these concerns were real. They were honest, legitimate concerns that were coming from a loving place of people who cared about me. So completely understand it, and I'm not faulting them at all. But at some point, it just came down to me asking myself, whose life am I really living? Am I living to please other people and living to follow the script that they say is the right way to live? Or am I gonna live what I've always wanted to and pursue the dreams and aspirations that I've always had. So the decision was already made in my mind and knew that I didn't want to be at PwC. But what I wanted to do next was the decision I still had to make. And of course I could have gone and worked for a smaller local place, but the thing that really came down to me in this decision is, do I want to live the life that others want for me to live and never know what I was fully capable of? Or do I just want to take the jump and go for it? And ultimately, this was the decision. And so in August of 2025, I gave my 2 weeks. I sat down with my manager and told him essentially that I would be leaving here soon to start my own company. You know, I went into this conversation feeling a little nervous. My personality doesn't like to disappoint people. And so I felt like me leaving after this guy had given me the opportunity to work on his team was going to be in some form me letting him down, right? And so the conversation actually ended up being a little difficult for me. And so as I started explaining to him that I was leaving, what I was leaving for, all of that, I kind of forget what I said, but you know, I just basically told him the situation. And it was interesting that he actually met me with a lot of grace in that moment. He told me something that I still haven't forgotten about till this day and still think about. He told me essentially that he could tell. He wasn't surprised, and he knew that me and the way that I think, the way that I operate, that I was meant for something like this, that I was meant to go and do bigger and greater things. He told me I was a very hard worker, very goal-oriented, and so he fully supported what I was doing. He told me to go for it. That's something I haven't forgotten, and it just meant a lot to me that the person who gave me the job, the person who gave me the opportunity, is the same one who supported me in that moment and gave me the freedom to go and pursue my dreams and go and pursue bigger and better things. And so that conversation wasn't easy by any means, but it gave me the freedom and lifted a weight off my back to feel like I could pursue exactly what I wanted in life and make the decision a little bit easier. And so now, what's it been like on the other side, right? Everybody wants to know, okay, so you had the story, you left, what does the other side look like? And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, if you're in a similar situation to me, I'm gonna be honest with what's happened and the reality of it. And you know, the truth is, it hasn't always been easy. There's several things that have gone well, and there's also other things that haven't gone as well as I would have liked. And so the first thing is, I thought the business side of things would come a little bit more naturally to me. Marketing, sales, having sales calls, or even speaking to a camera like this. I thought that PwC would have prepared me a little bit for that. Not all of it, but at least some of it. And the truth is, it had a pretty steep learning curve for me to figure out how to actually do all those things and how I actually want to do it in my business and have my own unique flair on it from what other people do and what I gather from other people's knowledge. Another thing that's been hard is just the fact that the income is completely on me. Obviously you go into it knowing that, you know that your work produces the income and that's how it is, right? There's no acting like I didn't know that, but it's just the fact that combined with learning all the business skills, it takes a lot to produce that income and get it up to a point that you like. And this is all, of course, as opposed to a steady paycheck where just every 2 weeks it hits your bank account. And so there's a huge weight there and a lot of pressure that comes with that to produce consistently. But here's what's gone a lot better than I could have ever imagined. And that's the fact that my friends and my family consistently show up and support me in everything I do. And that's been something I've been not surprised about. I don't think that's the right word. I always knew that they would support me, but just the way that they show their love towards what I'm doing and continue to help me along my journey until, you know, I reach that super successful level. And the second thing that's really just been incredible as I've gone into entrepreneurship is just the way that God continues to show up and the way that he continues to provide. And, you know, I mean this in several ways. So there's, of course, the financial provision that we can have, but also just the peace that he is able to provide. In moments where I'm stressed, in moments where things don't go well, I can always run to him and he always provides the peace that is just beyond understanding that you can't find anywhere else. And just learning to rest in that peace, learning to trust in his plan for you, and just knowing that his plan is perfect has been huge in my life, especially jumping into entrepreneurship. And just knowing that the plan might not always play out the way that I want it to, but that his plan is always better than mine. You know, the Bible says that his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. I just trust that as long as I seek him above everything else, that I will be provided abundantly more than I could ever ask for. And, you know, I think that peace is something that I have now that I would never have had if I was still in that office in New York, working at PwC late at night. And so was it worth it? For me personally, yes, it was worth it. This last year almost that I've been doing full-time entrepreneurship has been some of the most enjoyable time of my life. I've grown so much as a person, as a follower of Christ, and as a business owner that it's just been such a joy. There's a lot of hard times, but of course we push through those and continue just to push higher and higher and get 1% better every single day. The whole philosophy behind my company being called Kaizen, 1% improvement every single day. And like I said, it can be hard, but I would rather be dealing with that than dealing with the question of, is this all that my life will amount to? And so if you're in a similar situation and you're dealing with the same questions that I went through, I'm not gonna be here to be the one to tell you what to do. But what I will encourage you with is that you already know the decision at hand. So my encouragement would be to take the risk, to jump into the thing, and to pursue the life that you have always wanted. You can always go back to the previous life of working for somebody else whenever you desire, if it doesn't work. And so if this video resonated with you, be sure to subscribe. I've got more content about my entrepreneurial journey plus other tax related content coming here in the future. So be sure to subscribe so you can catch those. If you're a business owner who wants help with your taxes, be sure to check the links in the description. I have a free tax deduction checklist and also a link to schedule a call with me where I will walk you through the exact tax plan that I would build for your company. And so I hope you enjoyed. And as always, never stop your relentless pursuit of continuous improvement. And I'll look forward to us talking again soon.